Show, Chaffee and I are going to be talking about one of our favorite books, another book that I don't know anything about, and some of the books that you can find on free-ebooks.net. Welcome, everybody. This is Books Cafe. I'm Scott Paton. He's also Scott Paton.
Oh, I am. I need to change that.
Chaffee-Thanh Nguyen, how are you doing today?
Awesome. How are you?
Good, good. It's been a little while since you've been on the show. Glad to have you back. You've been busy. You were down in North Carolina at a big real estate conference, the Private Money Academy conference, with our good buddy Jay Connor. And I understand when you came back with a heavier suitcase than you left because you had some books to read.
Yeah, every time I go to North Carolina, I have space in my bags. And every time I come back, it's always full. And I go, how the heck am I going to fit all this stuff in my bags? And I think everyone does that when they go places. So next time I'm just going to have to bring an extra bag. And this time, though, what was in my bag on the way home were these two books. So this is a book.
One of my favorites.
That's right. So I've read this book. It's one of my favorite books. I highly recommend you go out and get it. And then this is a new book by author Frank McKinney. If you haven't read his books, he's got the first book that I've read of his was Making It Big, 40, I think it was 40 tips that he uses, 40 success tips that he shared. Well, this is his new book that just came out, Aspire, and I don't remember the story behind it. There is a story behind it, and some of the mastermind students at Jay's event gave this as a gift to everybody. And let me just talk about that real quick, Scott, is that sure. What I love about Jay's event is that it is an event where everyone gives as well as receives. And so it's not just about receiving, it's also about sharing and giving. And so I appreciate everybody at that event. I love that event just because, like I said, it is an event where you come back with a lot more. And when you give, you'll end up getting back like 10 times back what you give. So don't be afraid to give.
Awesome. And speaking of giving, that reminds me that you should make sure that you do the following. Like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate you joining us, everybody, our audience. You're very valued. And so do you know what the Ascribe book is about?
The Aspire book, I don't know what it's about. It says how to create your own reality and alter your own DNA. I know
that's kind of
Frank
crazy.
Was Frank
get an extra arm.
I'm connected with Frank on Facebook, and I know he was doing a big launch about this. I know there's like a fundraiser behind it, so he was sharing this. And the mastermind students that actually gave me this book actually went to his event. And if you know nothing about Frank, he's a millionaire real estate developer with a biker attitude. So he has like long hair and everything. And he's a wonderful guy. I caught one of his speeches when he's not a speaker. Well, he might be now. Only 20 years ago when I first met him, he wasn't a speaker. He was a developer. And he got up on stage, and it was in front of like 1,000 people. And he just told a story. And that's, again, what's so great about what we're doing here, Scott, is that it's a lot of authors are just telling their stories. And when he told his story, he got up there and he was just, it was so amazing that when he started developing real estate, he started living, he bought a house and he lived in it and he fixed it up and he was broke. He had no money. And then he sold that. And then he ended up buying, I believe it was a duplex or a quad. I forget what it was. Only he lived in one of those. And, he had to fix that up. And then he turned around and sold it. Only during that time when he was growing his business and he was developing this, and he wasn't getting paid. So he would only get paid after he sold his house. So he had to live off of, the money that he made from the previous property. And then he slowly upgraded to the point where he developed I believe it was $100 million home. So that actually took
Wow.
about 5 years. And so he had to live off the
Only
savings.
it took him that long, 5 years, to go from basically nothing to $100 million home.
No, it took him 5 years to build the $100 million plus home.
Oh, 5 years to build the home.
Yes. So it was
Any
all
way you look
high-end
at it, it's an
materials.
amazing accomplishment.
Yeah. And so, he had to live off of the money that he had from his previous deal for 5 years before, he got paid
I
from
see.
selling this new house. Only he comes from a very humble beginning. And so when he got up and started telling his story, like half the room started breaking out in tears, right?
Mm.
And that's the power of a story. That's the power of telling your story and sharing your story with others to inspire them. And I guess from this book, to aspire people to do more.
Right.
So
Well, there's an old
become an
saying: if
author.
you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Absolutely.
And I think if you think you can't, then you're just going to be putting blocks in your way to prove that you're right.
Yeah.
If you
So
think you
I
can,
love that
then you
quote.
might.
That's from Henry Ford. That
All right.
quote. And I like another one very similar to that, which is what you believe to be true is true for you, right? So what you believe to be true is true for you. And so a lot of times you'll believe something to
I
be
don't like
true
that
and
one.
pardon me?
I don't
You
like
don't
that
like
one.
Okay, well, let me talk about it anyways. Why not? Come on. That's a good one.
Yeah, I see too many people that I'm absolutely convinced are wrong.
See, that's true for you, right? So here's how I use that though, is that if you believe that again, if you I'm a big believer of limiting beliefs. And a lot of people limit their potential. They limit what they can accomplish because of their belief systems. And so I actually talked about this at Jay's live event last week in front of the group of people that we have. And, a lot of the excuses that you come up with in life, like I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough energy, I don't have enough of this, I don't have enough of that. Those are all limiting beliefs. And when you believe in that, like I don't have enough time, then you're right. You don't have enough time. And in reality, we all have the same amount of time, right? We all have 24 hours a day and we can all do a certain amount of things. And it's just, what are you prioritizing? What are you putting the most importance on in your life to get things done? And one of the questions I asked the class was, think about what's important to you. Think about what's important in your life. And, whether it's your family, your friends, your faith, your job, whatever it is that's important to you. And then think about where you're spending your time. And if you're not spending your time on the things that are important to you, what are you doing about it? Or are you just sitting back complaining that you don't have enough time, right? So what changes can you make in order to start spending more time doing what's important to you versus just spending the time doing nothing?
Yeah, you make a really good point. And one of the things that I want to riff a bit on what you're talking about is we have habits, right? So, and routines and patterns and all these things. And if we don't know what they are, you can't change them if they're not serving you. And one of the things that I want to do now that I'm spending a lot of time in Central and South America is get better at Spanish. So one thing I did was I got a Spanish tutor. He's helping me. I've seen huge improvements in my pronunciation and my speaking. Still not very confident and still not very good in my opinion. But Spanish speakers that knew me 3 years ago were like, wow, you've really improved. And I actually can kind of have conversations now beyond how are you and pass the salt. But one of the things that this instructor did is he did a whole bunch of videos on ABCs, one, two, threes, and use the verb to be and all this stuff. And I thought, it would really be helpful if I just practiced, right? So last night where I am is in Panama. I'm an hour and a half out of Panama City. I'm on the 14th floor. Out there is a beach that I can just walk out the door, go past the pool, and I'm on the beach. And it's a great pool and it's a great beach. And I thought, I could just sit by the pool in the evening. Well, I do sit by the pool in the evening and I basically waste my time because I'm just not it's not any sort of intention or anything like that. I thought, if I took a half an hour of that sitting by the pool time, because there's nobody there, there's bright stars, you hear the waves, it's a phenomenal place to be. I bet in 2 or 3 weeks my Spanish would be a lot better, even 2 weeks. So I had my class today. I talked to my teacher and I said, like, help me get it on my iPad because, I'm lost, right? And so we do that. And now I'm ready to take my old habit, which was just sit by the pool and veg, and replace it with sit by the pool and veg, but for half an hour, practice my Spanish. And I think that's a really important aspect of, like, when you aspire for things, is just, what do you have no time, but what are you wasting your time on, or what are you using your time ineffectively? I'm not going to say inefficiently. Like, maybe there's a time to sit and not think. I don't think people should be go all the time. But if we look at our lives, it's like, that thing I'm doing it's just an old habit because I have developed it. It's not something I really want to do or care about. And now replace it with something you do.
So I don't think anybody listened to you, because as you're pining away on your tough life in front of a pool in the ocean in Panama, others of us are suffering in Chicago where it's 20 degrees right now, freezing cold, and have no hope of going where you're going. So I kind of just blocked it out.
I get no sympathy.
That's right.
Nobody understands how hard my life is.
Yeah, wow.
Let's talk about Tribes.
Tribes is one of my favorite all-time books, Scott, and I do have a handful of those, and Tribe ranks right up there with them. And I think you've met Seth because you had him sign your book.
Yeah, amazing guy. I really he really makes me think about, like, we're involved in different types of marketing and business, and he really makes you think. Like, The Purple Cow is one of his books that to me is just brilliant, right? No one forgets The Purple Cow. And the Tribes, I really enjoyed that as well. And it's so important that you create your tribe, right? As opposed to trying to be everything to everybody.
So one of the reasons why Jay Connor, our friend, passed this book out to everybody about Tribes is, one, we're in the real estate business, and in the real estate business, you have to build your team or your tribe when you're buying, fixing, and selling properties. And also, just as authors, I think it's important to build your tribe as an author, because that's how you're going to spread your message more. And so a lot of people, I think, forget about that, is that they get so caught up in just writing the book, right, that they forget about building that tribe. And, so get that book, Tribes. I don't know. Is that something that's on ebooks, Scott?
No, you'd have to go to Amazon to get it.
Okay.
But it would be
thought
well
so,
worth the
Seth
time.
It's well worth the time to get that. I know you have a lot of other books on freeebooks.net that talk about building your tribe or building your culture or community. And so that's so key. And what I will say quickly about that book is that it goes really into what a tribe, how to build a tribe, what's so important about building tribes, like communication, having easy means of communication for your tribe is so important. Creating a movement, right? It talks about creating a movement in that book, and how to use that movement to focus your tribe on something. So when you have a good book like that, or where you're telling your story or you're creating a story, to have a movement, to create a movement around that story, to create a movement around that book, and then build a community around that is so powerful, and you can get that message out. So my dad used to always say, many hands make light work. And as entrepreneurs, we tend to think, and authors, I have to do it all ourselves. And you're a great role model and mentor for authors, Chaffee, in that you have thousands and thousands of best-selling children's books, and you never wrote one word in any of them. Well, I did write some words, only they were all edited. Okay, so
they were all changed.
I write the summary. Okay.
But you have 12 books, and are 7 or 8 of them published and live now, launched?
Yeah, so we have 16 that are launched. We have
Oh,
actually
wow.
14
So I wasn't
that are
off with my
completed.
thousands and thousands of books.
No. Well, they're out there somewhere. So we have 14 that are completed. We're working on a couple more. We're working on a Mother's Day one right now. So that series is going to continue. My goal is really just, make sure that, like I said, we have a whole, probably 5 or 6 of those developed a year to get out there to people. And then just build
Right.
up the stories, build up the community around the characters, right? I mean, the character is a kind of a child that gets in trouble and learns lessons from that trouble. And then, he shares that message of what he learned to everybody. So I want to build up that community around there and get that out there. So
Awesome. So I want to take a moment and show the free ebook site for everybody. There we go. And let's see how that looks. Cool. So you can go here and you can get 5 free ebooks for free every month. And we have new books that come in all the time. We have books that we feature that we think our editors think are excellent. And we also have just about any category that you could possibly want. You've got the fiction, the humor, romance, sci-fi, and then we have nonfiction. So a lot of business topics, food and recipes, games, general nonfiction, international stuff. And we have academic books. And what a lot of people don't know is a lot of students in poorer countries cannot afford to buy their textbooks. So they come to free ebooks, and we may not have the latest textbook or the latest edition, but we have textbooks on all the topics that they would be taking in university or college. And so we've had a lot of people tell us, I could never have passed and got my degree if it wasn't for free ebooks and all of these different textbooks that we have.
Well, forget about
Academic
other
books,
countries, Scott. When I was going through college, I was struggling to pay my textbooks too.
It's a problem everywhere. And we also have classics. So a lot of the classics, Alice in Wonderland, that sort of thing. And we have audiobooks too. We don't usually talk about them too much. So our purpose here, and if you miss this our live stream, you can come here and we've got them all on a playlist here for you. But if you're looking for, our whole purpose is to help authors get their writing out, because most of the publishers, they just want to publish this, the same old tried and true Stephen King type authors, and they don't want to take a risk on anybody, right? So that makes it a problem. So we're kind of that beginning where, you write your book, we get people to check it all out, 438 downloads of this book. And we categorize them. Like if you're a Gary Whitmore fan, well, we've got a bunch of his books here for you. If you like marketing, we've got our marketing books here. And then we also have our best books of the year for last year. We have to update that. And kind of that's how it goes. And then we've got our latest books. So you can just try it out. It's free. You get 5 of them. Most people in the world don't read more than 1 book after they graduate. So
Scott, if I do read more than 5 books in a month, what can I do?
We do have a VIP category. And once you join for free, you'll get an email asking you to contribute, join the VIP. You get unlimited books and unlimited audiobooks. So it's great.
Now you're talking.
It's great for the summer. You go on a road trip, which hopefully we can do this coming summer. Get 15 audiobooks, and that'll take you from LA to New York. No problem.
And that's a one-time investment in the program?
That's a one-time. You're a VIP forever after that.
There you go. So it's not a monthly fee that you got to pay.
No. It's just a one-time. You use that to. We use that money to support the authors to keep the site up and running. We have over 220,000 visitors a week, and we have over 5 million members. So it's not an insignificant group, but we're always looking to grow it, and we always want to help the authors out there. So
I think that's really cool that you don't charge like a $10-$20 monthly fee ongoing. It's just a one-time. Become a VIP and you can get unlimited books, because there's a lot of sites out there that do charge that monthly fee. Even if you get busy and you don't read any books, you're still charged, right? So
that's right.
So
awesome. Well, that brings us, I think, pretty much to the end of our show today, Chaffee. Do you have a tip of the week for our authors?
The tip of the week, I go back to build your community. And one of the surest ways of building a community, a strong community, is to give value. And that goes back to, how I received these books is, I'm part of this group and they gave value and they gave me these books. And so, if you want to build a community, a strong community that's going to help you spread your message, help you spread your book, then give value to them, provide value to them, and they're going to give back by helping you spread your message. And they're going to give back in ways that you would never know, that you would never expect. And that's the beautiful thing about giving and receiving, is that, when you don't expect stuff and then all of a sudden you get a whole bunch of stuff, it's like, wow, that's really cool. So build your community and do that by spreading your message and giving value, and you'll be amazed at the results that you get.
Wonderful. That's a great tip. My tip is read. Like you just showed, 2 great books. We have 40,000 books that you can read on free ebooks. And I think just by reading, you're going to get a lot of ideas going into your subconscious. They're going to percolate and they're going to come out because we're always inspired by what we're exposed to, right? Like when you read some good books, maybe 20 years later, you're going to write something and it's going to be inspired by something that you wrote. I'm not talking about copying as much as it all comes in. And I remember reading about Tolkien, and I didn't know this at the time, but he was part of a mastermind where C.S. Lewis and 2 or 3 other famous, but I can't remember who they are, authors were there. And they would say, yeah, I'm writing this book about the Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe. And they would read a chapter and everyone would talk about it. Like C.S. Lewis would go home and redo it. And Tolkien did the same thing. We're building up to this. And they would all share their ideas and their writing. And I think those books all probably would be a lot poorer if it wasn't for that interaction that was occurring. So become part of a mastermind, read lots of books, and just immerse yourself in your task.
Awesome. I didn't know that. And those are 2 of my favorite authors, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and The Hobbit.
Yeah, they were buddies. I guess I don't know if they were at the same university or what, but they were in the same town because they met every week.
I think the author of Harry Potter was there too. I'm just kidding.
I'm waiting for a reboot of Harry Potter. I can't wait for it. Well, thank you, Chaffee. Really appreciate having you on the show as usual. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Head over to free-ebooks.net. This is Books Cafe, sponsored by free-ebooks.net. Get your free ebooks, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. I don't know how long it takes to stop.
I was going to say that took a